You are welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD, your fastest moving hour of the day. 60 Minutes with PD. That's right. How are you people? Welcome, Benjamin, Louisa. How are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD, your fastest moving hour of the day. Fab Jibs, I see you. I see you, Fab Jibs. And Lynette Nish. That's right, Lynette Tish. How are you, Lynette Tish? Okay, Delacqua, I see you. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. We're loading up. It's Davidson. I am V John. Okay, I am John. How are you? I am John. How are we going? Azunath. Yes, I haven't heard from you in a while. I know who you are. Azuanath. Azua. Let's see you. Bookie. And I am John. Yes. Real man. Good to see you. Miss Pamberry. How are you? Bookie 14. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Lucy Lamumba. How are you? Hi, Margaret. How's it going? Nenveli. How are you? Good to see you, people. Adays. It's good to see you. Welcome to the platform, Adays. You know, you're going to be a guest very soon. Working on it. Okay, how are we doing today? Our topic is recognizing abuse, dealing with abuse, and healing from abuse. How are we doing, Chika? How are we doing, Karen? How are we doing? Yes. As we keep loading up. Yes, it's interesting as I looked into this topic. There's just so much going on with abuse. You know, it's amazing. And this evening is just going to be good for everybody, because even for some of us, there are times when we can default into abusive behavior, but we don't know yet. We just don't know. And if we don't know, we just might end up going in the wrong direction, you know? So it's going to be an eye-opener for everybody. We're all going to know what abuse is, because to be quite frank, some of us have engaged some kind of abuse and we have not really realized it, you know, so we need to know. And some of us are, you know, it's just an amazing thing. Lori, how are you? How are you people? Cindy, how are you? Adekoke Star Boy. Why? That's you know, that's a fly name, man. You know, Adekoke Fly Boy. Okay, you know. So, are we ready to start, people? Are we ready to start? So, welcome to 60 Minutes with PD, your fastest moving 60 minutes of the day. It's every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. right here at PD19 on Instagram. That's PIIDII 19 on Instagram. Please follow me. That's so important. Follow me so that you can get updated on everything. We are constantly just loading up on really valuable information that's going to help you every single day. So please follow me, get your friends to follow me, get everybody to follow me, let the whole world follow me. You know, that's the plan. Okay. So so you know, let's do relationships together. You know, just let's just do this together and enjoy ourselves. Let's enjoy our relationships, not endure them. Gloria, how are you? I see you, Gloria. Hi, Gloria. Okay, today's topic is recognizing abuse and dealing with abuse and healing from abuse. Okay, so I start right here. There is no abuse in love. Love is many things, but there is no abuse in love. The rules of love govern all successful relationships and marriages. You've got to do love in your relationships and marriages. Don't allow yourself to do anything else but love, okay? Abuse is contrary to every law of love. It's just contrary, because abuse is a perversion of roles in which the protector becomes the attacker, in which the nurturer, who's supposed to nurture, becomes the neglector, the neglect. You know, it becomes when the helper becomes the hinderer, where the person who's supposed to help you starts to hinder you. You just get that? And that's just a perversion of roles, where the provider becomes the withholder. You know, in abuse, people withhold from you what they are supposed to be providing for you. So when they start to withhold the love and withhold the sex and withhold the care, withhold the protection, you know, it's abuse. And finally, when the encourager becomes the opposer, the discourager, then that is abuse. Plan to be successful. Play by the rules. Play by the rules of love. Do we just get that? All abuse in any form is about control and domination. Somebody wants, it's a character, it's an action that's trying to control the next person. It could be with anger, it could be with withdrawal of love, withdrawal of attention, withdrawal of finances. It could be through intimidation, it could be through humiliation, just many things. But the goal of the abuser is to control you, is to make you do something by force. Whether knowing that it's not necessarily your will or something that you want to do, but they want to make you do it by force. They can come and smash your car and smash your TV because they want to make you do something. They want you home on time. So it's just threatening behavior. Any form of threatening behavior is abuse. You just get that, So abuse about control and domination of one person, wanting to totally control another by threat, by force, by intimidation, by manipulation, by isolation. When somebody starts to cut you off from your family and cut you off from your friends and cut you off from people around you, that person is setting you up for abuse. Because you've been here tonight and you've learned this, you're going to know to fight against it. Somebody who says, don't talk to your parents, don't tell anybody anything, don't talk to your pastor, don't talk to your friends, and they cut you off. They're isolating you. It's because they want to control you. And that's abuse. And if you are able to recognize it at the beginning, you can stop it. And then just stop it. And the thing is this, the person who is abusing can control their activities because they're not abusing somebody else. And when they're abusing you, they're not doing it in public. So obviously they can control what they do. So if they're able to control what they do, then they need to stop it. So we're going to talk about abuse. Get your questions. Let's have a really nice evening. This particular evening is going to be really fast because there's just so much to look at. Okay, any form of threat from your partner or spouse is abuse. Like if you're in a relationship, do not threaten your partner, do not threaten your spouse. And if you are receiving threats, it's abuse and that person needs help. So don't let it escalate, because what happens is at first it's a threat. At first it's like it's verbal abuse. They're putting you down. They're abusing. They're calling you names. Then from verbal abuse it gets to threatening. Then from threatening it gets emotional, and then it gets violent. So it just goes from step to step. It's a chain. Okay. Actually, if you fear your partner, if you just fear your partner for anything, if you do anything for your partner out of fear, you are being abused. Because fear is not a thing in a relationship. It's just not a thing. Love is the thing. Fear is not. So if for any reason you have a partner that from time to time you're afraid, so because you're afraid you do something, or because you're afraid, if you're afraid of them in any kind of way, there's some kind of abuse going on that you need to look into. Okay, you're on 60 Minutes with PD. If you just came in, please just follow me on this platform and you will be blessed. If you fear your partner, you're being abused. If you are responding to fear to your partner, you're being abused. Obviously, if you're being pushed, shoved, slapped, and hit, that's abuse that must not be tolerated. If you get to the point of where abuse gets violent, apart from the first time, and you're supposed to make a big deal of it. You see, most times, if you're being abused, if you don't make a big deal of it, you empower the abuser to continue doing it. Because now, it starts to get okay. So it's not okay. You make a big deal, and if it happens again, separate yourself. Even if you're married, if you are violently abused twice, pack your load and separate. I didn't say divorce, but separate yourself, because the abuser is sick. They need help. Anybody that engages in constant abuse, that person is sick. They need help. And until they get the help they need and they are healed of that thing of abuse, then they don't deserve your presence, if you get my point. So do not tolerate physical abuse in particular. Okay, now verbal abuse. Let's talk about verbal abuse. Verbal abuse includes threats, People shaming you, just speaking a way to shame you, insult you, belittle you. They call you names, which is really, how can you say I love this person and we've chosen to live with ourselves, and then I call you idiot, stupid, names like that? No, like, where did that come from? Don't tolerate it. Get help. That person needs help. And then don't join them and start to abuse in retaliation, because it's like you've caught the sickness because they're sick. Walk away from them, get some help. And don't jump into it. Stop putting your partner or your spouse down with your words. How does that benefit you? You are expected to be an encourager. Don't erode your partner's confidence with your words. If your words are taking away confidence from your partner, stop it. And if your partner's words continue to take confidence away from you, you are being abused. Okay? Don't let the devil, now this is the person who's doing the abuse, don't let the devil use you to steal, kill, and destroy your partner's or your spouse's joy, their peace, their love, or their confidence. Don't be used by the devil in abuse. Do you have toxic topics? If you're in a relationship and there's some things that you can't talk about, if you talk about it, it is going to be bad. Either there's going to be a quarrel, voices will be raised, and it's going to end badly. The topic could be finances, it could be my mother, it could be my sister, it could be my whatever it is. But that's abuse. You should be able to talk comfortably amongst yourselves. Okay? So don't do that. You should be able to talk without one person blowing up. Emotional abuse. Let's talk about emotional abuse. If your partner is using anger to control you, that's abuse. Because then they've done something wrong, you try to bring it up, then they're angry, and then you back off. They've used the anger to push you back and control the situation to your detriment. That's abuse. It's got to be looked into, and make a big deal of it from the first day it happens. Why abuse continues and grows is that the person being abused don't realize that they're already in a cycle of abuse, because abuse is in a cycle, and you've already entered the cycle, and you've allowed it. The minute that person tries to put you in the cycle, you need to put your head out and say, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm just not entering this cycle with you, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're not going to belittle me. You're not going to erode my self-worth and value. I know my value. I know how much I am loved by God, and you're not going to just take that away from me. And that's a stance that you've got to take from day one. You just get that. Okay. If your partner is using anger to avoid taking responsibility of their wrongdoings, it's abuse. If your partner punishes you in any way, it's abuse. You see, it's like this. You are married to a person, or you are in a relationship with a person. You chose to be there. It's not their job to punish you for anything, even if you've done wrong. We can talk about it. We can get help. We can learn. We can learn and move forward. We can renew our minds. But for one partner to think it's his place to punish the other person for something, for anything at all, it's abuse. So don't don't accept it. Don't tolerate it from the jump. Just don't go there. That's good. Your purpose in your partner's life is not to punish them. It's actually to be a blessing to them, to care for them, to protect them. It's a crazy thing when the person who's supposed to protect you actually becomes the one to attack you. It is such a betrayal. That where you're supposed to be the one to stand between me and an attacker, but instead you're the one attacking me, or you're the one that's supposed to nurture me and help me, but you're the one that's just cutting me down constantly. That's just not acceptable. That's abuse. Okay. There should be an emotional flow in a relationship, okay? And there should be good communication, there should be smiles, there should be encouragement, there should be help, there should be concern, there should be care, there should be a positive responsiveness in a good relationship. Now, if anybody intentionally withholds any of these things, that's abuse. There are times when we withhold the love, you withhold the communication, and you just make it just icy in the house while you're trying to punish them for something. That's abuse. You are trying to control them. You're trying to dominate them. You're trying to push them in a corner where they get to bend, bow, and just do what you want. Not because they want to, but because you've manipulated and forced them to do it. That's abuse. That's not your calling in their life. That's not what you're there for. So let's not do that. Okay? The effects of emotional and psychological abuse actually last longer than the effects of physical abuse. Isolation is a form of abuse. Anybody that says, that starts to cut you off from your friends, it's abuse. Cut you off from your family, cut you off from your social support. It's abuse, because they're leading you into a place where you're by yourself, and then they'll deal with you, and you don't want that. To resist it. If anybody tries to do that to you, resist it from jump. Let them realize that I'm not that person. I am just not that person that you're going to isolate. Also, there's something called financial control that is abuse. Sometimes the partner doesn't want you to have money, because if you have money, you can be independent. If they misbehave, you can move out, you can support yourself. If they withhold money from you, you can feed yourself. You're independent. There are people that don't like that. Anybody that does not like you to be financially independent is an abuser, because they're setting you up to deal with you. So watch out for that. And it's so bad sometimes. Some people will come to your place of work and make a fuss so that you can get fired. Sometimes some people will come to your business and mess up so that your business, your customers will go. And they're trying to ruin you financially. And it's abuse, because at the end of the day, they are trying to control you. They're trying to dominate you. They're trying to get you in a posture where you just be a slave, an unhappy slave, doing whatever it is they want. And that's not why you were born. You know, your parents gave birth to you. They had great plans for you. God is a father to you. He has amazing plans for you. Great worth. You are a treasure in your parents' eyes. Nobody has the right. Nobody has to take this from you. So don't allow it. Don't allow it. You walk away. So that's finances. Talk about finances. Humiliation is a form of abuse. There are people who just continue to humiliate you, and then they will humiliate you outside in front of other people just to just devalue you. You know, and that's abuse. Anybody that devalues you in any kind of way has abused you. So do not accept it. Don't accept it. You know, destruction is a form of abuse. There are people who, you know, because they can't get you to do what they want to do, they break your TV, break your windscreen, break things in your house, come smash your iPad, just destroy things in your house, because you're trying to control the other person. You know, and abuse is not necessarily about the sex. It's about whoever is doing it. So to be quite frank, you don't engage in it. If you get so angry one day that you start to break stuff in the house because you want him to do something, that's abuse. So don't do it. And if they do it to you, it's abuse. They shouldn't do it. Nobody should get involved in abuse. And then any form of controlling behavior is abuse. So don't get into controlling behavior. Then, of course, physical abuse is what's most common that people know about. A lot of abuse goes on behind closed doors that doesn't get out. It's the physical one that we get to know. Obviously, shoving, shaking, slapping, hitting, threatening, or even threatening any of these things is physical abuse. Don't tolerate it, and don't do it. If it, of course, and my thing is this: if out of the blues it happened, it's like, what? Make a big deal. Make a big deal. Do not. Yeah, like shout for hours. If all that you do is scream for like 1 hour, just scream for let that person realize that, you know what, this is not me. You know, you are putting me, you have violated my fundamental human rights. You know, I'm a person of, you know, don't do this to me. And you've got to make a big deal of it. If you don't make a big deal when you are abused, you empower the person to feel it's okay. They've crossed the line they shouldn't cross. And because it now seems okay, they are more comfortable to cross it in future. And guess what? They're only crossing it with you, not with anybody else. And that's because you've allowed it. See, so do not allow it. Okay? You just get that. So one time, you know, warning. Second time, I'm out. I'm just gone. It won't happen the third time. Just separate yourself. Even if you're married. I'm not saying divorcing, but separate yourself. You do not stay there. This is 60 Minutes with PD. Join me every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. right here on this platform, and follow me at PIIDII19 on Instagram. Tell your friends. It's an amazing platform. We're all growing together, and you know, there's amazing wisdom for life. Fantastic. Sexual abuse. No means no. Even with your wife. If your wife says no, then it's no. You aren't supposed to force your wife to have sex with you, and you're not supposed to force your husband to have sex with you. You know, a no is no. So you know, and a lot of sexual abuse goes on. You just get that, and then guess what too? If you withhold sex from your husband or your wife for a period of time that doesn't make sense, over 1 week doesn't make sense. That is abuse, because they've made a pledge to you to be faithful to you and not go anywhere else. and they have a need, they have an urge that needs to be satisfied, and you're the only person on the planet that can do it legally, and then you don't give it to them, for what? That is selfish, and that's abuse, and that too needs to stop. So look, forcefully taking it is abuse, withholding it unreasonably is abuse. Both need to stop. Do I have an amen on the platform? any kind of threat is an abuse. Like partners and spouses should not be threatening. You should never threaten your partner about anything. Just don't threaten them. Love them, encourage them, speak to them, show concern. You're not supposed to threat. No threatening at all. Okay? Fantastic. If you've been blessed on this platform, send me your testimonials. We want your testimonials. Don't forget that. This is 60 Minutes with PD. The abuser is empowered each time they get away with abusing you. Know this. Every time they get away, they're empowered. There is an invisible boundary that stops everyone from violating you in abuse. Everybody, we have boundaries. Just lines that shouldn't be crossed in our lives by anybody. Okay, and if it gets crossed, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So don't allow it. There has to be, and remember this, there has to be a dramatic response to any incidents of abuse that you realize. Just make it dramatic. Don't tone it down. Make a big deal of it. And in fact, call in a third party. You see, most times abusers continue in darkness. They continue in secrecy, where people have lumps on their head and say, I walked into the door, and some scars on their faces. Oh, I tripped. You see, both the abuser and the abusee are hiding it. Don't hide it. If you get hit by anybody, tell everybody, this guy hit me, this guy hit me, this guy hit me. Tell somebody that, somebody that has some kind of ability to counsel you, that, what, this man, he hit me, or this woman hit me. So let somebody on the outside. It's like, if you're sick, you need a doctor. And if you don't see a doctor, you're going to remain sick. So make sure that they see a doctor. Amen? That's amazing. Okay, after a while, the abuser feels comfortable. After a while, you start to feel you deserve it. The worst thing about abuse is that many times people start to feel that they deserve abuse because they've been abused for so long that their self-worth is eroded. They just feel, well, I deserve it. You don't, listen to me, you don't deserve abuse from anybody, irrespective of what you've done. You do not deserve to be abused. You are a treasure. You have self-worth. You are worth a lot, and nobody should violate you in that way. Fantastic. Get counseling if there's any case of abuse. Once you recognize you've been abused, make sure that you respond in a dramatic way. Let the abuser know it is not tolerated. Get an outsider involved. Now, if you are the abuser, know that you have crossed a line and it's not acceptable. You have done something that you have no right to do. If you are the abuser, you have violated another human being in a way that's not acceptable. You just got to know that, okay? So, definitely apologize to the person that you've abused and resolve your heart that you will never do it again. Just resolve your heart, you never do it again. And get help. Get help. The fact that you crossed that line, you have to have somebody counsel you and talk to you, and you have to come into some kind of accountability. Somebody that's checking up on you, and somebody that your partner can speak to if there are any other signs of abuse. And you've got to cooperate. You've got to cooperate. Okay? Healing from abuse. Abuse is a violation of your self-esteem, your self-worth, and value. So, and in fact, nobody that is emotionally and psychologically well abuses somebody else. Now, listen to this very carefully. The person who abused you is not emotionally and psychologically well. They're sick, and that's one thing we have to understand. The abuser is sick. They have to get help. They have to get treatment. Now, by the time, if you're married to this person, you've got to know this. If they got the treatment and it worked, then you no longer have to live in fear of them. It's like if a person has typhoid today and they threw up on me, and I say, oh wow, what is this? And I take them to the doctor. They get their medicine, they get treated and everything. It's not, I shouldn't start to fear that they'll throw up on me again because they got treatment. Now, it is if they didn't get treated, then I have that fear. So if this person saw a counselor, they spent some time and everything, at the end of the day, they should be okay. You don't have to be in fear with them. And truly the abuser does need to apologize, does need to, you know, like there has to be a change in mindset where he or she knows where they went wrong in their thinking, they've received the correction, and they've realigned themselves into healthy thinking, and they're respecting your space, and they're respecting you, they're encouraging you, and they're playing the part they're supposed to play in the relationship. Okay, I'm almost done. This is 60 Minutes with PD. Join me every Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Nobody deserves to be abused. And I'll tell you this. Listen, if you've ever been abused, I want you to know this. It's not your fault. Because nobody deserves to be abused. Somebody's sick, came in their sickness, and they just basically entangled you in some kind of way in their sickness. But it's not your fault. And if you're in abuse right now, you need to make a big fuss. Don't see the more you lower, it's like, okay, it's not a big deal, I can take it. You are empowering the person to continue what they're doing to you, and they're not supposed to do it. Okay? Reject the thought that something is wrong with you. If you've been abused before, right now, listen to me. Reject that thought that something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, and you're not crazy. Sometimes an abuser will make you think that you are crazy. You know, that's just psychological abuse, where that person just makes you feel that you're crazy. You're not crazy. He or she has a problem. Okay, let's start to just know that. Okay, abuse is something that should never have happened to you, and it's not normal. Don't expect it. And then obviously don't provoke yourselves. And I think I'll rest my case here. Get your self-worth and value back. Okay, your self-worth, because you are a valuable creation of God. You know, God loves you and values you. You've got to know that, and nobody can take that away from you. Fantastic. So this evening, my first guest is Bookie. Bookie, what is Bookie's Bookie 14? Hopefully this is Bookie 14. Bookie 14. We have some questions, and of course, let me see all your questions. Next Saturday we're talking about dating. Hopefully we finish this topic tonight. If not, we'll continue next week. If not, next week we're talking about dating tips, the process, finding the right person. Bookie, how are you? You are looking amazing. Hi, Bookie. That's really good. This thing is cutting my head off. Let me move back. Okay. Hi, Bookie. How's it going?
How are you? I'm fine, PD. How are you?
Fantastic. You look good. You look amazing, Bookie. I hear that you have some questions for me.
Thank
the topic
you,
is recognizing abuse, dealing with abuse, and healing from abuse. You know, what kind of questions do you have for me? What do we, talk to me.
You've actually answered a lot of my questions.
Good. I like that.
So in that introduction, you covered quite a bit of things already, which is fantastic. But just following on from some of the discussions you had, I'd like to know when exactly does controlling behavior cross the line into abusive behavior? So, for example, in the beginning, him or her could say, do your hair a certain way, or wear braces, or do your wear a certain type of clothes. You're not really sure if it's abusive or not, but him or her is saying, okay, do it this way, and then afterwards it could be, I don't know, don't go to this place, or don't go to that place, or if you don't see this person. I said, when does controlling behavior actually cross the line into abusive behavior?
Like, it's okay to ask to do something. It's okay to ask. Okay, it's okay to ask, but it's when you start to enforce what you ask, then that's when the problem starts. So it's like, okay, I like you to dress like this. That's not a big deal. Okay, between the both of you, you're expected to negotiate that and come to some conclusion that's agreeable to both parties. Okay, now and that's fine. But it's when action starts to be taken to enforce one person's idea, that's when it starts. Do you get it? So it's okay for you to talk and say, this is what I like, and this is what I'd like to see you do. I mean, and that's part of the process, actually part of the process. But anytime one person starts to do something active to make the next person do it, that's a problem. Because you're both adults, you negotiate everything. We negotiate, we compromise, it's in love, and we keep moving.
Yeah.
Okay? So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So like for example, if a partner wants to
Okay.
go out, for example, and then the other partner is saying, no, you can't go to that place, and then maybe they physically lock the door, or like they physically throw the keys away or throw away the car keys or something, then that's like
That's
crossing the
crossed the
line
line.
into an
That's
abusive
crossed the line. That's crossed the
relationship.
line. See, we've always got to realize that we've come together. We've come together by our free wills. I met you, I liked you, and we came together. Okay, we were not forced together, and we should always keep that at the top of our minds. So whenever we cheat, we handle each other. It should be with this thing in our mind that
Yeah.
we chose to be here. Okay, and because we chose to be here, we can't
Okay.
force anything on each other. We've got to discuss it. We've got to wait out, and we should come to some agreement. Agreement is so important in relationships, and it's something that's not talked about a lot. But it's important that that you and your partner or your spouse, you have an ability to come into agreement on issues that you did not initially start out being on the same page. But by the time you rub minds and you discuss it, you come to some kind of
Okay.
agreement. So that's important. But anytime you start to do something to make it
Okay.
happen, it's control. It's domination, it's control, and it's abuse.
It's control. Okay, so that is crossing the line, and when that happens, you really need to make a
Exactly.
big deal
Exactly.
about it. You know, don't be quiet, shout out. Okay. Another question I had, you know, you have situations where the person that's doing the abusing doesn't actually know, or they're not even aware that they're doing it. So, I mean, how do you now make the abusing partner realize or acknowledge that this actions is abuse? And I don't know, how do you convey that message to them for them to even acknowledge or even realize that their actions
So
is
first thing
abuse?
is to follow PD or PIIDI 19. I'm just kidding. No, but for it, if you follow me, I think you will learn a lot. But the thing is this: every relationship should have oversight. I always say it on all my teachings. Every relationship should have oversight, meaning that there should be somebody or people who you both respect, who are wise, who are able to speak into the relationship. So at this point, it's like whoever has oversight, you go and see, like, look, daddy, mommy, or sir, ma, this is what's going on. And, this is abuse. And it started. I don't want it to get worse. Please call them or call us so we can come talk to you. And then let them come, and then you get spoken to. Because most times, spouses don't take advice from their spouses for some reason. But if somebody, tells them, they'll take it. Yeah.
It could help. I know there's sometimes I've heard things like, oh, he loves me or she loves me, that's why she's telling me to do it this way, or that's why she's telling me, or him or her is telling me to do it that way. So, how do we actually differentiate between love and abuse? Because the person doing the abusing might actually, in their head, is their way of showing love, is their way of showing, I don't know, respect, is their way of showing, that they value the person. So, I mean, how do you start to differentiate between telling us, okay, this is not love, this is actually abuse?
As long as it stays in the realm of discussion, and constructive discussion, it's not abuse. But once it gets into the realm of enforcement, it's abuse. And it's something that you should know. And actually, this particular teaching today is of great value to everybody, because for once, we're going to just define it. It's been defined. We know what it is clearly. So if we're doing it, like I know some people even on this platform will say, okay, in future, when we're dealing with people, we're not going to get into the realm of abuse. And some people too, on this platform, when somebody gets into the realm of abuse with them, they know that this is abuse and I'm not supposed to take this. So this is actually, it's a very valuable program tonight. So yeah, once it gets into the realm of enforcement, where no matter how small it is, but something is being done against your desire to enforce you to do something you did not agree to, then that's abuse. Because that person is trying to dominate you.
It's abuse.
It's like you're a complete human being with your own mind and everything, and you should come to your own conclusions and not have somebody, like I can attempt to argue you into a conclusion, but I should not attempt to enforce you into it.
I like that.
Good.
I like that. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, that's a very good way of saying it. That's a very good way of saying it. One question I also had to ask is, if you're a third party looking in, and you in your head you can say, okay, there's my friend or whoever is in an abusive relationship. How do we and like how you've mentioned it a few times, he or she is still not kind of getting it, and they scared, they don't want to come out of it. Like how can we encourage that person to kind of speak up? How do we encourage them to like come out of that and realize that this is not healthy for them?
First thing you want to do is you've got to build up their self-esteem. Most times the people are in abuse in that kind of situation, their self-value and confidence has been so eroded that they think that they deserve it. So build up their self-esteem. There's a difference between advice and help. Most times people will advise people that have been abused. That's not good. Offer help. Meaning that if you want to get out of this, you can stay with me. Okay. I'll pack your load for you when they're out. I will, offer help. Don't offer advice, because at this point in time, and don't put them down. At that point, they're really fragile. So you build up their confidence and offer them help and not advice.
Okay. I think that's quite helpful, so that they know that if they decide they want to come out, that they know help. That there's
if you're their friend, like advice is like, you're just talking to them. But help is like, you know what, tell me when, and I'll come with a few guys on a truck and we'll do this, or I'll, help. Yeah. Offer them help. Or link them to somebody who will counsel them.
I mean, there was one thing. What about family? Because sometimes the person doing the abuse, like if their family if their or their family does not even want to acknowledge or even support that and acknowledge that, okay, this my son or this my daughter is being abusive in this relationship, what do you do in that type of situation if your family members as well are not even recognize, oh, he's just talking to you, don't take it so personal, oh, it's just in your head, it's all in your emotions, don't let it get out of you, he's not physically abusing you, so why are you being so dramatic?
As a rule, I tell people to not take problems to family members. Your accountability person should actually not be a member of your family. Go to somebody on the outside who's experienced, who knows how to deal with issues like this, and they'll deal with it in an unbiased manner. So I don't advise that we go to families with problems like this, because families always have a tinted version of what's going on, or tinted perspective of what's going on. Buki, I have to bring 2 more people before we close, and I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I have Henry coming up. Thanks, Buki. Helpful. It's been amazing. Love you. Talk to you soon, Buki. Yes. Where is Henry? Henry Chiagozie. Is that Henry? Yes, that's Henry. Yes. So I have Henry right here. And Henry, why are you not coming on? Let me take. Okay, you're not going. I'm saying, okay. Nope. Fantastic. Okay, so I need to get Henry on board. Henry, where are you? I see him right here. Great. So why should there be no to sex in marriage? Why should there be no to sex in marriage? I don't get that question. There should be no. I said there should be no. Like a no is. Why is there no? Come on. Mental
hi, PD.
How are you, Henry?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You're looking handsome as usual. Dapper. That's my guy.
You have taught us so much about appearance, so we have to always dress the part wherever we're going to.
Nicely.
Exactly.
And the small things count. You gotta smell nice.
Exactly.
Really important.
PD.
How important is smell? Smell is important. You smell good. Look
exactly.
fresh. Everything's on point. Talk to me.
Yeah. PD. I had the rundown you've given, and I was just going straight. There was a research I read sometime, but I would like to thank you for going into this abuse theme, because it's coming at the right time. There was a research I read that one of the biggest mistake people make to abusers is trying to appease somebody, appease those that are abusing you. And I think I'm a victim, because I've been in a relationship where I've been abused. But I'm always trying to be on the good side.
And I'd love to talk about that, because people think that only men abuse. But to be frank, I've seen where women have abused men. Seriously.
PD, I have been abused.
Doesn't think so. So, feel free to share some things with us.
So, PD, I have been abused, and the biggest part of the abusement, the abuse I had, it was verbal. it was verbal abuse, and it was making me reevaluate my life. And I was asking myself, am I truly not worthy for this person, despite doing everything I know within my power to sustain the relationship? But then in the research I read, they said, don't try to appease those that are abusing you. Because I know I try to appease her. I try to make sure I'm always doing the good things. And I ended up seeing that even the good things I think I'm doing are not working. So my question is appeasement not a way of settling abusers? What will not be the possible solution that you can do as a man to, if you have a female, if your partner as a man is abusing you, what should you do? Should I walk away from the relationship or what?
Okay, it's like this. We've got to see that the abuser is sick. See, like everybody has a space around them that's just their space and their value and everything. I mean, you can't walk up to just a strange person on the street and just abuse their rights. You know, it's hardly done. But because you're familiar with the person, you start to abuse them in one way or the other. It's sick. It's psychologically sick behavior. So appeasing a person that's sick doesn't heal them. It doesn't stop the problem. They need help. See, if anything comes out of this teaching, is that the abuser needs help. And if you don't see to it they get help, they are going to remain sick. And if you're connected with them, then you're going to remain in some kind of bondage. And you don't want that. So that I mean that thing you read is actually true. We don't try to appease them because I'll tell you this. Abuse is in cycles. Like if you stay long enough in abuse, it becomes a cycle where you get abused and then the person feels guilty. I mean, I get abused and it's really bad. The person will feel guilty and they'll beg you and then they'll start to act normal. Then they'll lavish love on you and say, oh, they've changed, they're good. And then just as you're settling down to everything, they think it up in their mind again and they abuse you again. And then as you get mad, you're about to go, they'll beg you again. And then it's just a cycle. And then if you fall into it, it's like, he loves me, just like he beats you from time to time. He loves me, he just has an anger problem. He loves me. And then you stay. And God forbid that he kills you. So don't. He's like, don't get into the cycle. Don't play the game. I'm not playing that game with you. If you abuse me once, you're in trouble.
PD, somebody had said this thing to me, but then people, when it boils down to, people always see the man as a weakling. I had cried to my friends that this is what I'm going through in my relationship, and I'm trying to leave. But they see me as a weakling of not being man enough to handle the situation. And the question now is the masculine influence of trying to be a man and handling the situation. How would you expect us to handle the situation as a man? Now, as
a man, you need to be careful who you take advice from. Okay, you need to be careful. Like make sure that you take advice from a person that's qualified. I mean, if you came to meet me, I'll tell you what to do. You know, it's like if she has issues, she needs to state. Both of you need to sit down. You need to talk about it. You need to discuss it, and whatever agreement that you come to is what you carry out. But one person cannot just continue to cut the other person down and expect that person will bring out love from that person. You know, it just doesn't work that way. You know, so both of you needed counseling, and in counseling, both parties need to open their hearts to receive what's been done. And if any party refuses to do that, eventually that relationship will not stand.
Now it leads me to the healing process. This is the part where everybody tries to avoid and neglect the question or the vitality. To be candid with you, PD, I find it very hard. I have moved on, yes, but I find it very hard to forgive and forget this person that has abused me. Because in my quiet time, I still remember what the person said, and then I will reignite the anger and say, this person, I would never ever forgive you. Okay, I will never forget. If you're in trouble, I will not help you. How do I heal myself? And when I mean healing, I don't mean, okay, I've forgiven you, you can go. But when I see her tomorrow, I still remember the pain and anger she put me through. And I'm not angry enough to hurt her, no. But the pain and anger makes me feel whenever she's in problem, I will not help her. That's how angry I am. I will be honest with you, PD. How do I thoroughly heal and cleanse myself?
I value your honesty, okay? And that's good. You went. I don't think you were around last week. I spoke on forgiving, that we forgive for ourselves. So, okay, so it's not for her. When we forgive, it's for our own good, because the unforgiveness is holding us down in bondage. So I spoke about that. But most importantly, what I want to say today is this: when you look at her different from now, from today. Look at her as a person that was sick. If a person who is sick does something to you in their sickness, I won't hold it against them. They were sick. And if they're still sick, then, I don't want to catch the plague. But if they're healed, then they're healed. So it's because you believe that, well, they were normal people. Anybody who is a repeat abuser is not normal. It's sick. It's a mental and a psychological sickness, and it needs to be treated. Because it's not normal for a human being to walk up to another human being and violate them. You just get that. So at some point in time, you've got to wrap your mind around the fact that person is sick. They need help, and you pray that they get help. And your encounter with them, obviously it wasn't great, but they needed help. And also, I said this last week, that replay button, you can control your mind. The devil sits down in your soul and presses replay. And just like you just said, you actually just said everything right now. Each time you think about it, you get angry like it just happened. I said this last week, if you were here last week, that we should be intentional not to replay.
The intentionality is what makes us a human.
No, you can control your mind. Okay. The other thing is this: what you believe is very important. If you believe you cannot control your mind, you cannot control your mind.
No, I can't.
Your mind is like a dog on a leash. The dog cannot lead you. You lead the dog. You pull your leash up and you push it to the way it should go. And even though it's running in front, it's like you are the one that's actually leading it. You get? Because sometimes, the dog wants to go where it wants to go. But you, with the leash, you bring it back. So don't let your mind lead you. You lead your mind.
Okay.
Just get that. Amazing. I gotta go. I have one more person coming up.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. At least I have learned to. I have learned to do. Thank you so much.
But it's been amazing.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, PD. All right, bye.
Fantastic. Okay. I have Ime. Where are you, Ime Queen? Oh wow, that is such a powerful name. Yeah. Okay. So I hope we've learned something about abuse. Don't tolerate it. It's something that you want to recognize. It's important that we recognize what abuse is, so we stay out of it. Ime, how are you?
Very well,
wow,
PD.
Ime, you're looking really good. Good
How are
to
you
see
doing,
you.
PD? It's
How
great
are
to see you.
Our topic is recognizing abuse, dealing with abuse, and healing from abuse. Any questions, any comments?
This has been a loaded topic, PD. Absolutely. You've done an amazing job, touching on so many points in such a short time.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to run along. I have a few questions for you, PD.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
the first one. What would you advise single people to look out for in a person, someone they've just met? What should they look out for to avoid getting into a relationship with an abusive person? I'm sure there are signs.
Yes, there are.
What are the
First
signs?
thing is that like sometimes I ask people, it's like while you were dating, did you guys talk? Look out for a person who goes to great effort to get their idea carried out. You know how you can say, if we get a house, I'd like the color to be green or pink, these are my scheme. And then he or she chooses something different. And it's fine, it's okay. And then you try to compromise. Well, you realize that actually they're not looking for a compromise. They're looking for what they want. And it's okay to see it in one situation. But when you see it in 2, 3, 4 situations, you realize that this is a person who wants to just have their way.
Control.
That's the point. If they're opinionated, most abusers tend to be, because like, it's my idea or the highway. It's like, this is what I should do. And they want to enforce their ideas. So there are little things that you start to notice. And they're not comfortable with you, with your friends. Okay, fine. Then they're not comfortable with your family. Then who am I left with? Just you? It's all part of the signs that you just need to start to just watch out for.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, PD. That's actually a very, very good one. Another question is this. You've touched on, abuse in marriage, Now, in the case where it's happened, how can couples heal from abuse? So they've gone to a counselor, but they have that history, how do they heal from that?
Okay, it takes time to heal, but one thing, external help has come, and they've gotten external help. Now the issue is, how did they respond to the external help? Did they respond well? Did they do the things that they were told to do? Did they stop doing the things they were told to stop doing? Did they go back to that external help just for a checkup with both parties? Have you both seen that there's more agreement and things are working? Once that's happened, then the process has begun. Okay, and the abuser used to do that. Well, I was sick at that time, and I'm no longer sick. So they've got to realize that there was something wrong with their mindset when they did what they did. But in a way that it's verbalized, like, you know what, I don't know what I was thinking when I did it. I'm really sorry, darling. I really don't know. And that's consistent. Not when in a way they feel like you deserve it. They feel like, you know what, I had to do it. It's a different mindset. But that mindset where I just like, you know what, I must have been possessed. I'm really sorry. And I'm just not that person. Now when you've heard that and you've lived that, you do start getting healed. And one thing is this: when the abuser abused this person, your heart, you withdrew your heart, okay? And to quite frankly, the abuser has to realize that, you know what, I'm no longer where I was with this person. I need to get intimate with her ears. She needs to hear my love consistently till she's comfortable enough to give me her heart back. What happens a lot is this: most times in a marriage, the abuser feels, well, I'm already married to you, and we can just pick up where we left off. But they don't really know the heart of their partner, that, you know what, you don't have their heart yet. You really have got to work for this heart because you lost it.
Well
You
said.
get that?
Well said. Well said. Thank you very much, Fidi. Thank you. Do I have time to
Yes.
put in another question?
We have like 6 more minutes.
Okay. What are the signs that change is genuine and can be trusted? So
that's easy. If change is genuine, it can be trusted. It will show in words, it will show in action, and it will be consistent. You see, trust is earned in little bits. It's lost in bucketfuls. So it's like if I keep checking, I'll check, and if the person keeps checking out, we're in some testy situation where normally I know by now they'll have set up. But guess what? They're cool. They're smiling. They're okay. Or there are times when I know I did something. It's not intentional, but I know that this thing was offensive to this person, and normally they'll have blown up. But they're smiling. It's okay. If I sit down for months, then it's for me to get to a point that you know what, healing has happened here. There's been some transformation, and we're good.
lovely. PD, I know you've been mentoring different couples and over the years. Quick question: have you actually seen or mentored a couple that have progressed from an abusive relationship to a successful marriage? Is this something
definitely.
you've actually seen? And
Definitely,
can you give us an
definitely.
example?
All our counseling is extremely confidential.
Absolutely.
So I can't get into details. But there have been cases where there's been abuse at a point where I guess they were young, and they were, when you're young, you're feisty. But then, we've counseled them. They've grown wiser. They've just grown wiser. And things are good. Things are good now. And it's like it never happened. It's actually like it just never happened. So know this in your mind, that you can get past it. But it takes two. It takes two. And because right now you're facing yourselves. Don't do that. Just do love. Love is something. Love is a verb. Love is something that can be done. Just intentionally do love consistently, and everybody gets healed. It's actually love that heals the pain and the hurt.
Well said, PD. Thank you so much. Thank you,
You are very welcome.
For your words of wisdom.
Thank you. Any more questions for me?
Not at the moment. Let's see if there's any questions
on
here.
the platform. But and by the way, this is 60 Minutes with PD. I'm here every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. please just follow me and come on board. Invite your friends and let's do life together with wisdom. I say something here. Some abusers seem to perfect at their act. Perfect abusers. They eventually start manifesting their abusive nature the moment they are done with the marriage rites. You know, and that's true. Sometimes an abuser is able to stay undercover for a long time. But I'll tell you this, though. I'll tell you this. If you really listen to what we've taught tonight, and you really hear what I said, you will see that if you put your mind back to the time of courtship, you could have the red flags were there. In fact, I'm going to do something on red flags very soon. I think after dating, we'll do red flags. There are signs. See, there are signs that you can see in a man that you know that this guy is going to be abused. See, some people are so proud. See, if you see like if you see pride at a level that's above average, they are most likely going to be abusive, because a proud person wants their own idea done. So if they're proud, it's a red flag. If they are opinionated, it's a very bad red flag, where they know it all. They just know it all, and you know nobody else knows anything better than them. You know, it is a seriously red flag. What else is there? There's just a level of aggression that you see in a person, where they're just very aggressive. If an overly aggressive person could easily end up being an abuser. So you've got to watch out for that. Where they've been nice to you, but you can see that they're aggressive. You see some pride. You see some opinionated. You know, yeah. Or even a person who is selfish, because you're self-centered and selfish. It's about you, and you want to just dominate your partner with what you want, and that's a sign. So it's interesting that it can be seen. It's actually easy. It's not easy, but if you're looking out, you will know an abuser even before you marry them. And if you see that they are an abuser, get away.
You run away.
I like you say run away. So people,
thank you very much, PD.
This is 60 minutes with PD. Any more questions? If not, I have a few more. Like, I never finished my notes actually. Today, I never finished my notes. When does controlling behavior turn to abusive? Now, controlling, like once it's controlling, it's already abusive. You see, this question says, when does controlling behavior become abusive? It's like controlling behavior is abusive. So it just has different levels of abuse. So once you've seen controlling behavior, you need to start to speak against it and just stop it. Just get whoever it is to stop it completely, because it's not something you want to agree to. Did we get that? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Any more questions on the platform? Anything there for us before I get into some more teachings right here?
G. Adamu says, some abusers seem so perfect at their act, they eventually start manifesting their abusive nature the moment they are done with the marriage rites. Yeah,
and again, I'll say that even if you see it after the marriage, it can still be dealt with. But then it's very possible to catch it before. So spend time. Like too many times when I counsel people, a few things come up. One is like, don't you guys talk while you're dating? You know, and it's like, you know, because there's just so much about the other person that they don't know. And as a rule, don't hurry up. Don't be in a hurry to get married. Do you get? In most times when you hurry, you miss things. When you take your time, things get revealed in time. Don't say because, okay, I want to start having sex legally, let's get married quick. You know, don't do that. Take your time. Look at things and things get revealed, okay? And it's because you know what you know today, you know, I don't think an abuse or an abuser could get past you without you identifying them or it. So it's really important. You just get that.
True.
And the thing too is this, emotional abuse lasts a long time. And there are ways that if you see a person who they're afraid of their partner or their spouse, you've got to know that most likely there's abuse here. Or the spouse is always checking up on them, you know, just checking up on them. You know, there's something there, there's some control there. There are things that you can see in a person that either you see it in yourself or see it in a person that can know that, you know what, this person, there's something here. Anybody that's just, and abuse leads to depression. Most people who have suffered abuse are depressed it leads to just a sense of hopelessness that shouldn't be there, just should not be there. It's almost time. We're going to close in the next few minutes. It's harder to spot, but if you're looking out, you can find it. Oh, I was going to get Aisha on, but we're done. You know, Aisha will talk. Well, it's 60 Minutes with PD. Please follow this platform. It's at PIIDIN19. We've got amazing videos. We're offering free counseling for now. So, you know, just let us know. We'll be in touch. Send us your testimonials. We really want to get quite a few testimonials. If you've been blessed, if you've been helped by anything on the platform, in the profile, please just send us a testimonial. We'd like to start to save our testimonials. And our counseling is confidential. So be sure that when you speak to us, it's completely confidential. You know, I love you all. We have 5 more minutes. You know, do your relationships with love.